go.
Why are we shooting here?
Because we're going to see cars.
We are. We're going to see.
That's what it'll do.
We are going to the Pontiac Oakland Auto Museum.
Close enough, Brian. It's a car.
It's in Pontiac, Illinois. We are definitely going to go see cars. So, click the subscribe button, like, follow, leave us a comment.
Click the bell.
And sit back, relax, and join us as we're going to be exploring the Pontiac Oakland Auto Museum.
See you soon.
We made our way to Pontiac, Illinois. And what do you check out there? Pontiacs, of course. Making its debut as the Oakland 4 in 1909, its rich history drew fans for decades. Some may say they're huge fans, but they don't own a museum like Mr. Tim Dye. Tim has been an enthusiast for decades, and the Pontiac Oakland Auto Museum is his way to share his passion.
My name is Tim Dye. I'm the executive director of the Pontiac Oakland Museum in Pontiac, Illinois. And it's located right downtown on this small and quaint Route 66 town in mid-central Illinois. Basically, I had collected Pontiac, cars and memorabilia since I was a teenager. I helped start the GTO Association of America when I was 19, and I early on became the editor, and so I started collecting GTO literature and books and so forth, so I'd have information for the newsletter, and that's really the beginning of this library. And then so I just kept collecting. So throughout my life, and I worked in a print shop as a pressman and other positions in the print shop, but all along I collected Pontiac stuff. So it grew to be quite a collection. We had 2 outbuildings with cars and memorabilia throughout the house and in the buildings and stuff. And the library continued to grow as I ended up writing for other publications and other Pontiacs, not just GTOs. So, so when GM announced they were dropping the Pontiac in 2008, I just looked at my wife and I said, well, I guess it's up to us now, because we just felt like they were kind of abandoning us, and all the kids were grown and gone by then, and we felt like we were in a position that we could maybe do something, to have a museum. So we started the paperwork. We were still living in Oklahoma then, and to have a 501c, and we had a car buddy who was a lawyer who helped us with the paperwork and get us going that way. So I was on my way to Chicago with a friend to help set up the Pontiac National Convention one year, and on the way back south we stopped in Pontiac because I'd never been here. I had written a book about Pontiac history and memorabilia, and there was a little museum here that was open for sign art, and I stopped in. It was a Sunday, so there wasn't a whole lot open, and the gal in there bought one of my books, and I said, well, if you ever think about wanting to do a Pontiac car museum, give me a call. And the next day the mayor called and said, how would you like to move your collection to Pontiac, Illinois? So that started a talk. I came to town, it was August 1st, 2010, and in July of 2011 we had our grand opening. Our museum focuses on the Pontiac and the Oakland automobile, which started in 1893 with Edward Murphy and the Pontiac Buggy Company. So we have everything on display, from the buggy to the Oakland automobile and then to the Pontiac car that we all are familiar with. And the Pontiac car itself went from 1926 to 2010 was the last model. And we have lots of memorabilia on display. It's not just cars lined up. And we have also some vignettes with, for instance, we have a 78 Phoenix hatchback with the tent option that is sitting in like a campground situation. And many people can associate with camping and the cars and trips they took on family vacations. And so we have that. And then we also have a 49 Streamliner with a 49 teardrop trailer made out of World War II bomber wings. And that's a little older memories, but it's still amazing to look. And that design, the teardrop, is still today. They're making new teardrop trailers just like this old one. And we do have a couple Oaklands on display. We have a couple Trans Ams. We have currently a concept Fiero 4-seat car that's one of one. And then of course Pontiac, who's known for their muscle cars. We have 3 GTOs currently, 270 Judges on display, and we have a 70 Formula Firebird with 436 original miles. Just a beautiful time capsule car. And we have engines on display and Chief Pontiac memorabilia, because after all, the Pontiac car in any city named Pontiac, or anything named Pontiac, wouldn't be if it wasn't for Chief Pontiac. It's all named after him.
You've been wanting to put a brick in Uranus for a long, long time, but Uranus has just been too small. Well, good news, because Uranus is expanding. That's right, more and more people are coming into Uranus every single day. And because of that, we're going to have to cram a whole bunch of new businesses in Uranus. And you can help us do it by putting 8 inches in Uranus. Wow! An 8-inch by 4-inch brick with your custom text, and we'll put it firmly in Uranus. But better than that, citizen, you'll put this brick in Uranus, I'm going to give you a chance to win $50,000. So all you got to do is click the link above or click the link below, or visit us online at www.uranusgeneralstore.com. Hey, stick this brick in Uranus.
I think the library is like the jewel of the museum. I mean, let's face it, cars are some of the easier things to get. Now, sure, there's rare cars that are hard to find, but the library material, some of it is one of a kind. And so it started out being a lot of basic stuff, shop manuals, you know, owner's manuals, parts books, dealer technical bulletins, color chips, you know, all that kind of stuff. But then over time, as I got to build up relationships with former Pontiac employees, we started getting internal documents and blueprints and drawings from you know, designers. They start donating these priceless, one-of-a-kind things. And so the library, just, I'd have to say, is a pretty magnificent thing, especially for the size of our museum. The material we have here is amazing. And we have people come that are researching books or researching restoring a car, and they come here and use the library. And I publish a car magazine for the Pontiac Oakland Club that goes out to 10,000 people every month. And it's usually 90 to 100 pages. And right outside my office door, I have the world's biggest Pontiac Oakland library. So it's a great deal. But yeah, it's amazing. And a lot of the places in the country where you might find some of this stuff, it's just either non-accessible or very hard to access. And that's why this side of the library has a glass wall, because that way people can see the library, and all they gotta do is ask and they can come in. Because I've been to many museums and I've asked to see the library and they just say no. And I would joke with my wife and say, when we have a museum, you're gonna be able to see the library and go in there. So that's exactly why it is the way it is now. It was tough. We had to close due to the governor's, you know, regulations here in Illinois. We probably last year, 2020, closed half of the year, and let's face it, a museum is not on the top of the food chain when it comes to, you know, essential businesses or anything like that. And then when the foreign visitors were shut off, that then reduced a lot of our visitors. The only bright spot last year is every year we have an annual all Pontiac show and cruise. And last year we were able to have that in between. It seemed like right in September there was a little bit of a bright spot, and they loosened things up a little bit, and we had our biggest show ever in downtown Pontiac here. And I heard no reports of anyone getting sick or anything, so I think it was all good. But so really just keeping kind of, you know, we don't have a lot of employees, we don't have a big budget here, so luckily we're pretty conservative, and so I think that helped us get through, basically. Well, we began to outgrow this facility as cars continue to be donated, memorabilia donated, library material donated, and at one point we had cars in 4 states, and we had used up about all the storage places around town here. And if I may back up for a second, when we initially started working on our 501c3 in Oklahoma, we reached out to Pontiac, Michigan, but we didn't know at the time that they were at an all-time low for their city. It was really bad there, so they were not interested in talking to us at all. So as things are changing there, a group of people, not from the city per se, but just car and, you know, Pontiac enthusiasts or people who want to see Pontiac, Michigan do well, and they are turning it around pretty good now, came here to see the museum and visit me and say, we would like you to do something in Pontiac, Michigan. And they just weren't talking, because one of the members of the group then eventually donated a 55,000 square foot building. So that, after all, is the home of the Pontiac. And so I was able with that then to gather all the cars and so forth that had been scattered and moved them all there and continue to take cars there. And so right now we're working on renovating. We're going to do it in 3 phases. And phase 1 we just are working to get open. So we still have to do heat and air, plumbing, electrical. We've come a long way with it, and we just keep working at it. Of course, the virus didn't help us with our fundraising efforts last year, but we're very enthusiastic and optimistic about the things that are going on there in town. And so we feel like within the next year or so we'll be able to at least open the phase 1 part of it. And that's called the Pontiac Transportation Museum. It's under the same 501c3, but it's going to cover all transportation in Pontiac, Michigan over the years. The Pontiac Oakland Museum in Pontiac, Illinois is open 7 days a week from 10 to 4. And you can reach us at our website, or you can email me at tpontiacmuseum@hotmail.com.
Special thanks to Tim Dye of the Pontiac Oakland Auto Museum. Thank you very much.
That was such a cool place, Brian.
You know, considering that Pontiacs were discontinued in 2010, I think he said, that's, yeah. It's,
Didn't you just get rid of yours?
I did. I had a 2006. Time to get rid of it. It was time to go. Again, hit that subscribe button, like, follow.
Share Uranus and click the bell.
She wanted to talk about the ding dong. For myself, Brian, for Miss Tiffany, for all of us here in Uranus, thank you very much. We'll see you next time on the Mother Road.
See you later.